I'm Lauren.
And I'm Annie. Welcome to Birth Barf. I remember how to do that.
Yeah, barely. It's been a little minute since we've been with y'all.
We should start first things first. This is not a child-appropriate podcast.
Oh, yes. If you're riding in your minivan and it's filled with children, quickly throw all those children out of your minivan.
You could pause the podcast, but that's not in line with our interests.
Other rides, because it's mom day or dad day. And mom or dad day, driving the minivan, you're going to go get some donuts, you're going to listen to Birth Barf, then you're going to go on your run, you're going to let someone else take care of your children.
And if you're listening to this at work on speaker, put your headphones in and pretend that you're listening to a webinar on improving your Excel skills.
Taking that DISC assessment. Okay.
Good. Now we got the important stuff out of the way. Just kidding. We have more important stuff.
We do. We have our usual housekeeping, which is we'd like to say thank you very much.
New Patreon. And it's a good one.
It is a good one.
And it's a good in line with our theme for today. So
it is.
Our new Patreon is the one, the only, Ashley Blake!
Yay!
Welcome aboard, Ashley, even though you've been here all along.
I'm super stoked to see... I've been watching your runs because I'm a little bit of a stalker.
Creeper!
I miss you. I'm stoked that you're a Birth Barfer, and I hope that I'll see you this fall in Frozen Headland. I assume that I will because it looks like you've been training there. Not that I follow your every move.
Also, I think it's worth calling out, and, our Patreon intro is different for everybody, but, I was about to say sorry, but Ashley is loving this, I'm sure. Ashley, I think, was the first person to recognize us at an event. Which was at BFC.
Yeah.
So it was at BFC 3 years ago. She was like, are you guys Annie and Lauren?
We were like, wow, we got recognized for the first time. Oh man.
It was a good feeling.
It
was a really good feeling. So thanks, Ashley, for coming early and often. Wink! Ew.
What do you have?
So, I've got my drinky drinks. Today is water and some leftover Mio mixtures that made this horrible green color, except for that it's matching my monochromatic olive green outfit. So I'm living my monochromatic yoga teacher dream.
Except for that no yoga teacher ever is drinking. Well, they might be drinking an olive green drink.
I'm sorry. It's my super greens drink.
Yeah, I was going to say, but typically when the yoga teacher drinks an olive green drink, it's made of,
it's a kale powder shake.
And,
that's what it is.
Kale. Yeah.
It's not shit.
I'm getting my
Mio
kale
drink.
in, because it's blended into my super creatine. I bet that's really good.
That was a good year.
For Mio.
Usually we don't call out our podcast episode themes in advance because usually it's me making one up afterwards, but today
we decided to be intentional.
It's a love letter to women.
Yay!
I might actually cry during this episode.
Oh my god,
really?
You've gotten squishy in your old age.
Squishy and monochromatic.
Stop with the squishy heartedness. I rely on you for grit.
I know all kinds of.
I've got good feelings to share. I've got good feelings to share too.
All right, so we have a lot of stuff to cover,
yes.
And, we haven't been super present on social media, so, y'all are gonna get lots over the next couple weeks. She committed ahead of actually scheduling anything. But today we're going to catch up on the Unbridled Women Adventure Race and the Sheventures camp experience.
Man, oh man.
Because we're going to try and group things as it makes sense to group, and those two things do. So these are two all-women things that happened.
Well, and we begin our story with Annie hopping out of her comfort zone.
Yes.
By hanging out with strangers.
Strangers!
Which is
two
not
strangers!
Her usual vibe, and even more so than just hanging out with strangers, competing with them.
Yeah. So
say a little bit about how you found your team.
Well, I'll back up. Stephanie Ross messaged and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Burf Barf's not going to be at my adventure race, the Unbridled all-women adventure race. I think you guys said you had another race or something on the calendar." And I looked at my calendar. I was like, "We don't have another event. The deadline is tomorrow. I need to sign up." I feel like that's more of a Lauren instinct to just be like, I'm not going to miss out.
No,
I can't miss out. I got to sign up. So
I
signed up and I was like, "Hey, Lauren, you want to do this thing with me?" And she was like, "I'm going to be out of town this weekend." I think you were on the opposite coast. So this was not a flexibility thing. So I thought, I'm just going to give myself over to be a navigator for any team that wants me.
Take this body and this mind.
Yes. And I felt a lot less weird about it than I thought I would. There's so many things that have come out of adventure racing, and this is one of them, to just really own my value and just put myself out there. And also flexibility, being able to adapt. That's adventure racing, is being I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to try.
Yeah, that's basically my only mode when it comes to adventure racing. Yeah.
So, Stephanie Ross was like, when I registered as an individual, she said, "You do know this is only teams of 3 women, right?" And I was like, "Didn't, but
I'll find some. There's some out there. I'll get some women.
Yeah.
I got binders full of women."
Stephanie Ross, and I'm going to keep saying her full name like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So Stephanie Ross is a full-service race director when it comes to Unbridled Women. She does not race direct nearly as often as she used to, and when she does, it is
juicy
with all of the heart and passion in the world.
Sweet.
And she concierged me 2 teammates. So I don't know if you knew this.
No, I definitely
didn't
did not
put myself into the Facebook group. I said, I don't have any teammates. Stephanie said, "I have 2 teammates for you." So she was a matchmaker for us, and I think at least 2 other teams, putting together whole teams of individual women.
That's insane.
Based on who she thought would be a good match.
A good team, a good lunchroom moderator at recess, and be like, "You and you play. You and you should get together. You guys like the same thing.
You 2 are going to do tetherball.
Yes, you come over here.
Get on the slides. You're slide kids. You 2 stare at the ground while you swing next to each other. You're going to love it. Get ready." So Stephanie Ross said, "I'm going to have you be on a team with Sarah Dahlman and Deb Flout." I did not know. I knew of Sarah Dahlman. I didn't know Deb Flout at all, but she was described as a happy little spark plug, which, just
right on the money.
That's right on the money.
So 2 very vastly different personalities with you.
Yes. And I showed up to the event in Kentucky and met up with Sarah and Deb for the first time. We did not do
the night before the race.
Yeah, I think we started texting Thursday before the Saturday event to be like, who's bringing a bike? But it was an 8-hour event, and showed up ready and willing and got to meet Sarah and Deb.
How do you even gear prepare for that? You're just like, "You guys have all the things? Cool, I'll see you there."
Yeah, so Sarah, I've mentioned before, I think on this podcast, is a legend among everyone. So I knew Sarah was taken care of. Deb has been adventure racing with her husband, and actually did the 15-hour at the 2 Rivers event. So sweet. I knew that we all kind of, I think, came with the assumption that we'd have our basics covered. And, this is stereotypical and probably not a valid thing to say, but here I am saying it anyways. As women, we were all just ready to take care of ourselves. So it was who's got a multi-tool? I do. Okay, what about duct tape? I do.
Oh, really good.
First aid kit? I do.
Oh.
However, me also knowing myself, I was like, I'm going to take all of this extra weight out. I'm not carrying any of these extra things.
Thank you for supporting me, and I will be taking the lighter bag.
Yep, and another thing that was great about this event was just, not having ego, and I feel like that will probably come up in the majority of our episode.
Question.
Yeah.
Is that because it was just the timing of the race, or is it because you were around all women?
I think it's just part of my journey in adventure racing. So, it really is a team sport. So, I'm used to thinking about ultras and lots of other stuff we've done, which I didn't even realize it was that embedded, where it's like, you need to take care of your own shit. Like, you need to show up and take care of yourself. In adventure racing, you're only as fast as your slowest teammate. So, regardless of how fast your fastest person is, you're only as fast as your slowest person.
Yeah, so you really are a unit that is taking care of each other.
And it's been a good exercise for me, in particular post-COVID, and, like, really having lost my inspiration to train really hard, to just be like, there's nothing wrong with just being like, I'm the slower person on foot. Like, I need to be towed by somebody else on the team. Or I'm the slower person on a bike going uphill. I need to be towed by somebody else if they can. And at Unbridled, Sarah is a powerhouse.
In all disciplines.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, in all disciplines. And
who was your navigator?
Me!
Oh, wow.
Me.
And how did you feel about confidence-wise with a really experienced adventure racer saying, I'm going to navigate?
Sarah is probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. So
she was giving you a lot of grace?
Yes. And it was also...
Not that you would need it.
It was also just great to have her perspective because I definitely was clear about some of my insecurities going along the way, or I shouldn't even say insecurities, like things about my own experience in adventure racing and being a navigator. So Sarah typically races on a mixed team for adventure racing, like with the likes of navigators like Mark Latanzi.
Okay.
Or
just
when
people
who've
written books about the
sport.
Yes.
Or when she is on an all-female team, it's with Stephanie Ross, who is a very, very, very experienced navigator.
So she's a leader in the sport, both at the finishing line and also like in the community.
Yes. And it was great to have her perspective because I would share some of my viewpoints, like, when I see a team that wins an adventure race, all I see is that team go into the woods, and then I hear or learn that they've cleared the course, and I see pictures of them at the finish. I don't know what any of that of the in-between is. My head just fills in the blank that the navigation was flawless, that there was no problems, that everything was smooth sailing because their navigation was perfect.
Except for that time that we saw that one team coming out on an out and back where they were all riding the same bicycle like it was the circus. So we very rarely see the lead team, but once in a while we do, and we're like, what the fuck is happening there? And
Sarah's, just sharing her experience of like, no, it's definitely not perfect all the time, and sometimes we're able to make it up a lot because we're so much faster, which I would know nothing about.
I don't know how that goes. Yeah, how do you burn it out?
Yeah, but I had also set the bar pretty low for myself navigation-wise, where I was just like, guys, I don't really know what I'm doing, because then, if I messed up, I messed up.
Were you planning on asking her about the map? Or were you guys tandeming, like, looking at
We were tandeming. So, one of the things for this race is Stephanie really set it up to give everybody an opportunity to grow. So everybody got a copy of the map, which I feel like is becoming more and more important as we get more people into adventure racing.
Years ago when we were like, excuse me, we get one map, and they're like, yeah, you get one map. And we were like, no, but how can we do it together?
Yeah, and now it's becoming, I think, more of the norm. And like race directors, like I strongly encourage you, even charging extra for additional sets of maps, which I totally get, like that's expensive to print maps. I would be willing to pay for an extra set of maps every single time, because otherwise the rest of the team doesn't learn. Or like, I would love to be on a team with a better navigator than me and be able to follow along and learn from them.
Watch them make their decisions. That would help me learn something.
Yes.
I would like that.
And I feel like navigation skills get rusty so fast.
Oh, mine are gone.
I'm only just now getting to the point where I don't feel like I forget everything every week.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, you've done a lot of it.
Yeah. Okay, so Unbridled Women, it's an 8-hour event. It was held in Greenup, Kentucky at this beautiful park that had water and mountain bike trails and hiking trails and a little bit of everything. It was like 89 degrees.
That was my next question.
Boy.
Not your flavor.
I really just gave up all my reservations about anything. I was just like, I'm going to be with these people I don't know. It's going to be a hot-ass day. I don't know what my fitness is like.
I might have to redline the whole time.
I might have to redline the whole time, and I'm just going to be okay with it. And,
Wow.
Deb and Sarah, like, the night before were kind of, like, joking, but not joking, about, like, well, we want to win this. Like, we want to win this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, okay. And they were like, yeah, no, but really, we want to win this. And I was like, that's terrifying to
Yeah,
me. Like,
I bet.
that's not a thing that I'm really used to thinking about.
I'd like to challenge you a little bit on that.
Yes. I'm not saying I'm not experienced, like, ending up with a win, but maybe not, like, going out.
Yeah, I mean, at least in adventure racing.
Yes. Yeah. So, hot day. We started out when the on-foot section that we ran to get to the paddle section. The paddle section was really fun because, Sarah's a powerhouse. Deb, like, the theme of the day was Deb just enthusiastically going as hard as she could. So, like, Sarah was like, all right, you're gonna follow my cadence on the paddling. No you trying to steer or anything. And Deb was like, okay, got it. And it was like a 10 count, and then she had it. Like, she knew what she was doing.
Wow.
And the setup of the paddle section was really fun because you would get to a checkpoint, and then you would get a bearing and distance to a bonus checkpoint. So it would say like 36 degrees, 100 yards, and you'd have to look at the map and figure out where you were going. So you didn't even have to plot the point, but you needed to know where it was.
That's fun. I like that.
Really
That's juicy.
fun.
I want one of
and
those.
It was like, so you'd see everybody get to the checkpoint, and then everybody sit in the boats for a second like, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? Where is it? Where is it? How would you get there? How would you get there? And there was like, okay, go. And there was like the whole thing was set up that all checkpoints are optional because, again, to cater to, like,
brand
somebody
noobs.
didn't want to do paddle at all, they didn't have to. If somebody didn't want a mountain bike at all, they really didn't have to.
Oh, wow. It is amazing in the paddling section, like, what a difference one good paddler can make. When you just have
person,
I know,
so bad.
When you have like one okay, one medium bad, and one bad, you're just kind of like clink, clunk, clink, clunk, splash, splash, whoop-a-doo.
Yep.
But if you have one good paddler, everyone can be like, oh, that,
okay,
got it.
There's such an opportunity for us on paddling.
There is a growth opportunity here. Yeah.
So, like, being with Sarah and, like, how much power Sarah could derive in the boat.
But that's, like, that's her main sport, or one of her best, all her best sports.
They're all her best sports.
But she's competed in paddling.
And to her point, she said, because anytime Deb and I were like, oh man, like, that's incredible, she was like, I've trained very hard and for a long time for this.
Which it's cool to hear women own that, to be like, I'm not just naturally good at this, I practiced it, and so if you're admiring that skill in me, I'm telling you that it's going to require work in you.
I've been doing this for a decade.
I totally respect that.
But yeah, so we did a short on-foot section, then we went to the paddle section, we did all the optional points, there was like some fun bushwhacking, but it was like paddle, on-foot, paddle, on-foot, paddle, on-foot, ended the boat section, and then got to the bike section. Again, I'm going to give Deb Flout credit. She was riding a bike that she got the first year that her and her husband were married. It was at least 25, if not 30-year-old bike.
So it's more like a BSO, a bike-shaped object at this point, than it is bike.
Yes. Deb loves her bike dearly. And it's time to burn that bike. I give her so much credit because it did not have shocks.
I can't imagine doing any race. Well, I mean, were you mostly on the road or mostly on gravel?
I would say we were at least 50% on single track.
Holy cow.
At least.
Is she a smaller bodied person?
Yes.
Okay. Well, sometimes that's the only way that you won't get sprung out of your saddle if you're on a fully rigid bike.
Yeah.
Is if you're little.
It was just incredible, though, because Deb attacked the trail with a fervor, the likes of which have never been seen. And she never, like, she would say, like, sorry when she had to get off her bike to walk. And I was like, you're doing awesome. I was like, I don't know how you're doing anything on that bike because I'm on, like, a full mountain bike, full hardtail, like, and I'm, I still have to pop off periodically.
Yeah.
And, like, Deb would just, like, hold on for dear
grind
life.
it all the way up.
And also, she's probably stronger than both Sarah and I because
She's
the amount of power that she had to put into that bike to get up and over hills, like...
She's working with a shitty tool, but she's got...
It was incredible.
Really good power. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Can you imagine what she can do on a carbon bicycle?
Yeah. Yeah. So we did a mountain bike section. There were some spots where I had some opportunities to make smarter navigation choices, but it was just one of those things where, like, I just don't see some things yet. Mm-hmm. Where it's like afterwards I'm like, oh, no, I guess you shouldn't make a spiral to catch things. You should just kind of make it like a tree branch looking route choice.
We have definitely done a spiral. It's like you hone in on it like an animal that's like walking limb over limb. Yeah.
Yes.
Closer.
Stalking your checkpoints.
Closer.
Yep. And we got towards the end of the day and there was you rode your bike to like a shelter within the park, and Stephanie had set up a list of checkpoints to plot on the map. So, for those of you not familiar, really? So there's it's
that's kind of high level.
Yeah, again, all optional. Oh, okay. So that was the whole like setup of the race. It was like on every piece, it was like you could make it as easy or as hard as you wanted to. So like
plotting
you didn't have to plot points at all.
It's complex.
Yes and no.
I just see numbers and go, can't do it.
So we plotted all the points. You needed to leave your bike at the shelter and go get all the points on foot. And then you came back to your bikes and then rode your bikes back to the start-finish area. And then you had the option for doing additional tracking points at the end. So there was 3 plotted points that you needed to do.
Plotting points is just like, for me, it's like decoding into a language that you don't know and then using that language to get somewhere in a foreign city.
It's more like measurements on a ruler.
Yeah, but if you plot them incorrectly, you're using the wrong...
Luckily for you, that's not a thing that I do anymore.
Oh, that is lucky for me, because that's going to happen soon for us.
So the 3 on-foot checkpoints that we plotted, and plotting just means you have to write them in on the map. They're not already mapped out for you. We got 2 of them pretty well. And then the third one, it was like, Deb and I are used to having to cut and not clear courses. And Sarah was like, we should go for it. Like, we should go for that checkpoint.
I can't even picture that life.
We had, I think, 45 minutes left.
Not this.
And we had...
Stop it.
And we had that last plotted checkpoint and 3 checkpoints near the start finish.
Panic.
And it was like, Deb and I were like, again, because we're used to being like, no, leave it!
Yeah.
But we were like right there. So we went for this checkpoint. We ended up doing a parallel error and going up the wrong spur. And so we had to be like, we went back to the bikes. But it was such like a standout moment for me, even though it seems like it wouldn't be. I'm not used to getting an opportunity to eke out clearing a course. Like, we've never tried in an adventure race. Like, we've never been in a position to be anywhere close to try and clear a course.
No.
Ever.
No.
So just this like opportunity to go for the clear and being on that edge of like, okay, I'll say air quotes, smart decision is to leave this optional checkpoint, but like the competitive decision is to go for the checkpoint. Mm-hmm. I've always done the, again, air quote, smart thing.
But even within the realm of doing what we can, have eked out some insane shit last minute.
Yeah, but like, I don't know how to
it's
a different feeling to say like, I guess when we've eked out things before, I've been like, I've felt pretty confident, like, oh, we have time to go do that because it's close to the start. It feels like grabbing things near the cashier at the end of a grocery tip. You're like, it's okay, it's like right here.
Yeah.
This was like, oh, I'm at the front of the store, I have to go all the way back for milk. No. And me being like, no, we're just going to do without milk. And Sarah was like, we're getting the goddamn milk.
Yeah, that would have made me panic. Were you a little bit panicked?
I was a little panicked. But it was also because I was just kind of like giving in to the cosmos. Mm-hmm. It was like, well, if we're going to do this, like, let's do it. So you make the decision and then you just go for it. And like, I honestly felt like emotional at the end. I was like, I've never been in a position to even try and clear the course. Ooh. I've never been able to do that. And it felt like really like empowering and just to be like, maybe I am that athlete.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just had to be shown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to have another female be like, yeah, but maybe you can.
Yeah. People have definitely done that for me. And it's like sort of unlocked a door for me. Mm-hmm. I remember when like Christian Arnold tried to teach me how to mountain bike. And I was just like, it's a thing I can't do. I know I can't. It's too scary for me. I don't do scary things. I don't do risky things. So I won't.
That's not me.
I won't be able to.
And then somebody just being like,
no,
maybe it is.
Maybe it is you. Maybe it is you. So just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And like, then like a whole door opens.
Yeah. Or like kind of similarly, like, but what if you didn't stop?
Yeah, yeah. What if you didn't stop is so cute.
Like, I had like real feelings about that.
Yeah.
So we got back to our bikes. Took our bikes back to the start-finish area. There was 3 on-foot checkpoints that were near the start-finish. We knew we didn't have time to get all 3 of them, but we went out on foot as hard as we could for the last checkpoint. Sarah towed both of us on foot, so we had a piece of surgical tubing looped through her pack, and like I was holding one end.
2 people.
I was holding one end, and Deb was holding the other one to help us like run faster.
That's insane.
Yeah. So she's literally sled dogged us.
She's a workhorse.
For the end of the race. And like, you know, Sarah was being very apologetic about like, you know, I'm sorry we shouldn't have gone for that last one. I was like, I needed to try.
I needed to know that was possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did not clear the course, but we ended up getting 2nd place, which I'm super stoked about.
That's awesome.
And we got 2nd place to Karen Clark, who's another very experienced navigator. And Karen had brought 2 of her mountain bike friends to adventure race with her for the first time.
Cool.
And just seeing all these women do whatever the next thing for them was awesome. So like for me it was racing with new people, like trying to clear a course when I haven't like made the decision to do that before. And for Karen it was leading a team of brand new women and getting them to become adventure racers. Cool. And they got to win. Like I was telling her friends,
can you imagine going home from that weekend and be like, I tried adventure racing. How'd you do?
I won. And I give her and her teammates a lot of credit. Like the reason they won was route selection, and Karen, like where I was like, okay, we're going to take this trail around. Karen was like, leave your bikes. We're bushwhacking to the bottom of this hill, getting that CP, and we're going to bushwhack right back up here to our bikes. Like she said, let's go. And they were like, we're going.
It's so hard to know when to be bold and when to be smart. When we hear things like from those teams that have done well at like Nitrogain, we're like, how did you guys get to the pond? They're like, we swam it in the dark. And we're like, okay. Because like you get this sense in the beginning that you're like, the smart choices are the best choices. And then sometimes you see that just brute force is the best manner in which to get something.
Yeah. And another thing that I love about this race, like and I have a goal for us as Burf Barf, like I want us to get at least twice as many women at this event next year. So there was 36 women, 12 teams at the event this year. I would like for Burf Barf to help get that number to 72 at least.
Woman I've seen on a trail, on foot, or on a bicycle in the last 2 weeks have been like, hi, it's so good to see you. Do you know about adventure racing? Do you know about the good news of adventure racing? I've been like, do you want to try? I mean, if you ever wanted to try it. And they're like, oh, we don't run. And I'm like, you don't have to run. They're like, we're just mountain bikers. And I'm like, can you walk through the woods? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, then you could do this.
Yeah. And it's so fun. And it's so empowering.
Isn't it cool that for all of the experience that you have in racing for over 8 years now, that you can still have an experience where you feel like you gain such like immense wisdom and confidence and courage?
Growth. Yeah. Like,
but there's still so much that like can open your, like, I would say your heart. Like it could open your heart to believing that you are capable of new things.
Yeah.
I just feel like you've done so many hard, fucking insane things that the fact that you can be moved by another female athlete to say, like, I didn't even know I could do this. Yeah. Like, that's still happening to you. That's awesome. That is
awesome. Yeah. So and, door prizes and like,
I thought that was going to be a metaphor.
No.
Like, what?
Literally door prizes afterwards, like great swag, like this thing that you can, the amount of work it takes to put on an adventure race is incredible to me, let alone to do it as a labor of love for a group of 40 women. Like, all of us had dinner together the night before. There was a recap Facebook event afterwards to go through the entire route to say, like, to give everybody an opportunity to say, Karen walked through exactly how she did the route, and like we discussed as a group, like on the internet, like, well, why did you go this way instead of this way, and like, why is this a smarter route choice than this, or like, thinking about the smart versus bold decision. Stephanie went through kind of her rule of thumb is it has to be like, if there is like the hard option and then the easier route to go around, the easier route needs to be 2 times or at maximum 2 times as long as the hard way. Yeah. And almost always it's the shorter, harder way is the way to go. Yeah.
Well, my body's ready.
But yeah, Unbridled Women Adventure Race, like, leave space for your calendar for next year. We'll share the date as soon as we get it, because women, you should show up in droves. There's clinics leading up to the event. Like, there's all kinds of Q&A. Stephanie Ross is a real champion for women in adventure racing. Like, if you don't have a team, you will be match made with one.
There's also opportunities between now and then to test things out under Burf Barf Racing.
Yeah.
Where we will have 2 teams at this year's Buff Betty race. So there are also spots available on those teams if you're feeling like you want to try an 8-hour.
And the Women of Adventure Racing, the Women of AR Facebook group is super active, and I've seen all levels of questions from like, what kind of shorts do you wear to like, how do you prepare for a 24-hour or longer event, and what's the difference between that and the shorter adventure races? So cannot encourage that enough. I just
get in there. We love you.
And I know there's a billion things that I'm forgetting, but the Unbridled Women Adventure Race was just
apparently filled your cup up.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah. So thanks, Stephanie Ross and everybody else who volunteered for that event for making it so juicy.
Snaps. Okay, more women stuff. Sheventures! So Sheventures is an outdoor women's experience outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee, that is basically a place for women to come from any kind of experience level to try new things like stand-up paddleboarding, mountain biking, walking, running, yoga, climbing.
Sleeping in the outdoors.
Just being in nature for extended periods of time. It does involve tent camping, which I know a lot of women have not experienced that before. They do a really good job of making all of those things digestible, accessible, and possible. Mm-hmm. And I have to say I was super impressed with the logistics of this entire event.
Yeah, it was 100 women, broken up into groups of like 10 or so, between different team leaders. Who were also there on a volunteer basis. So, they just love it. And there was so many return campers. It was really
I would say
telling.
More than half of the people there raised their hand when they said, like, how many of you have been here before? It was really impressive. It really, when I see things like this, I can only think about like the future of like what Burf Barf might do. I don't know that I would ever even aspire to do something on the scale that Sheventures did.
This is really impressive.
Jenny Baker is the founder of Sheventures. Her family owns the land on which the event is held. It is a gorgeous piece of land. There's a big meadow, and you actually camp in the woods, which is great because it's nice and shaded. Mm-hmm. But there is a beautiful rock wall for climbing. Yeah. There's about a 4.5-mile loop for running and mountain biking. The mountain biking is double track. There is no single track, but it's really good for beginners. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's still a lot of climbing.
Yeah, there was a lot of climbing.
I mean, I got in like almost 2,000 feet of gain on a 10-mile run there. So It's not nothing. Yeah. There's some climby bits. So they have some like outside, not vendors, but like contractors who come and teach each of these skills. Mm-hmm. And really less teaching and more like allowing.
Yeah.
Because I've been to a lot of clinics in my life on a lot of different sports. And what I noticed in this women's environment was that there was a lot less talking. There was like, it's like this and kind of like this. Do it!
Yeah. Now you try.
Yeah. Did you experience that when you were doing your climbing?
Yes, absolutely with the rock climbing. It was like, okay, get the harness on, make sure you tighten this up, we're going to loop you in. I think that's where your foot could go.
Yeah, I really like this because my entry into a lot of these sports, and I'm not shitting on it at all, but has been with men. And men, in my experience as teachers, want to say a lot. And because they know a lot and they want you there. And the reason why they're trying to like impart so much knowledge is to give you the tools to be able to do the thing with them. And they're excited for you. But I feel like there's been pitfalls for that in my experience where I felt like overcoached. And then I'm mega nervous and I feel like I'm like all my moves are being watched. What I really liked about this space was that it was like, here's a couple of the tools. We're going to keep you as safe as we possibly can. But also, this stuff is dangerous. And like, get at it. We like you know what you can do. Trust you to push you as far as you can.
Yeah.
But that was the theme, man. Was women pushing themselves from every skill level. And we were just floored by women being vulnerable and trying new things and just being so freaking courageous.
Yeah. And really normalizing trying. Like, it was really interesting to be with this large group of women and discovering, you know, the thing that like really connects me with other people is not other people who love to be out in the outdoors necessarily, but people who are willing to try. And there was so much of that. Just, I don't know, I've never been on a bike before. Someone shared that during stand-up paddleboarding, one of the participants had never been on a river before. And like, the idea of just releasing yourself into that and making an attempt at that is so fucking cool.
It is cool.
Like,
it is cool.
And I think, you know, you talking about like less instruction and more just like getting in there. I feel like that's a skill that I have not developed much in growing up. It hasn't been until I've gotten older that I've thought, why not try it? Like, just because you're not already good at it, because it doesn't make any sense that you would be already good at it,
right?
You can try it.
They're not natural skills, most of these skills.
Yes, like, you don't have to
you don't know ballet?
Yeah. Like, well, I guess you can never try because you don't know how already.
Yeah, no.
What? Like, don't women do that to themselves in jobs too, where women don't apply to jobs unless they know how to already do them? That's dumb. That's like saying, like, if you don't know how to already stand up paddleboard, you shouldn't go do it. Then how would anybody go do it?
Yeah, you have to try. And I feel like there were so many different disciplines being taught and that were available to people to learn that I loved watching people who were mega competent in one thing and testing out a thing they've never done. Like, I saw like some serious CrossFit women on a mountain bike for the first time ever. So it's like, okay, I'm getting out of a space where I know I'm mega competent and I know that I feel comfy there and strong there. And I'm hopping into a place where none of those safety nets are there for me. Yeah. And I just, yum.
Yeah, like, I tried to pick the things that I was least comfortable with, so I ended up doing rock climbing and mountain biking, actually, because I feel like there are some things, and I've learned lots of my outdoor skills the same way, which is just like continuing to bash my head into a wall until I figure out what I'm supposed to do. Mountain biking's kind of been like that. You've helped me a lot, but a lot of it has just been like, how do I get my butt up this hill? What if I do this? What if I do this? Same with navigation, where I'm like, what if I do this? What if I do this? Running, ultra running, it's like, I'll keep running until I get a stress fracture, and then I won't do that anymore, and I'll do something different.
Yes.
I lost my train of thought.
Just throw your body against the wall. Yeah. So, no, but you're saying that in this space, you actually had something to learn.
Yeah. So I did the rock climbing part, and like, you know, I'm like dripping sweat down my body. I'm like 2 feet off the ground, like holding on for dear life, just like, I don't know, like my body is like, I don't know how to do any of this, and just trying to like muscle my way up this wall. And like, probably my favorite moment from the whole weekend. Yes. We haven't said anything about our team leader, Dina, yet, but we will.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God. Dina, I hope you're listening, because we love you. We revere you. We think that you're the funniest person on earth. You come with a kind of enthusiasm that is exactly what we hope to cultivate in any space that we enter. You speak our freaking outdoor lady language.
And the way I described her to my daughter when I got back was, I wasn't sure what she would be like in person, but she ended up hula hooping a ring of fire.
That's not a metaphor either.
That's a pretty good tagline.
Yeah. Also, when she said, I better get my ticket because I'm going to win these free shoes. And they were like, and it's Dina. And she was like, I knew it! And then she did a round off and we were like,
yeah, what? Incredible. Just high level of energy and enthusiasm for just all of us existing. So
you're on the rock.
I'm on the rock and I'm on one of the one of the more challenging routes for me. And I'm about half to 2/3 up and I'm my arms are shaking. I have sweat dripping down my face. I'm just trying as hard as I can for no reason. There's no pressure. There's nobody rushing you.
You don't get a medal. There's not a bell
at
the top.
Nobody gives a shit, for better or worse. But women are encouraging each other and saying great job, no matter what happens. I'd already done a route that I had to bail and was just well, that one's not in my skill set. So I was on this one. I'm trying as hard as I can. I was like, okay, that's it. I think I'm done. And Dina, who had come with me to support me, and also because she loves rock climbing, was standing on the ground, and she said, I just don't think you're done. I'm sorry. And I said, what? She goes, I don't think you're done. And I stopped. I'm hanging there in my harness, trying to take a breather. And I feel like this is very common for your needs. For me, this is not usually what I want, but I just looked Dina dead in the face and I said, tell me again. Yes. And again, to Dina's credit, she did not shy away. She said, I just don't think you're done. I think you'd regret it if you stopped. And I was and I just go, okay. And I made my hands into little claws and repeated to myself, all you can do is try. All you can do is try. And got my ass up to the top of that route.
I'm so proud of you.
To the top of that route. And I was so stoked. And I was so happy Dina gave me that suit. I think those were the only words that could have been said that would have made me want to continue.
This is just not... I've never heard anybody do this to you. So this
right?
whole story
this is a new experience
super
to me too.
Anomalous to me.
Because either I've usually made up my mind beforehand, or just
or you're not going to wait, or you've not wavered. I mean, I think once in my life I've looked at you and been like, we have to keep going, and you've been like, okay, and that's it. I can't remember a time other than when we thought we were going to die when I say we should keep going.
Yeah,
it's just not a thing I have to say to you.
So again, having these experiences, despite nearly a decade of being an endurance athlete, of still being maybe I can do a little bit more.
New things, yeah. I really, really wish I had been able to go rock climbing. I really wanted to learn a new skill as well, and I have no idea how to rock climb. I've only done the plastic wall. But I had a hand boo-boo, so I went running with a group of people.
Yeah.
Which was lovely. I ended up running with every single... I ran up to the front, talked to those people, ran to the middle, I ran to the back, talked to all those people, and then went back all the way up to the front again, and then fell to the back.
Yeah.
Hi, what do you do? Do you like it? Let's talk about the patriarchy. Let's smash it. Okay, I'll be right back.
There was so many, good, juicy conversations with everybody, and, I feel like a lot of podcasts are trying to leave COVID out to leave episodes timeless, but we registered for Sheventures when COVID was not yet over and was not sure when it would be over, and it was maybe we can hope to go to this thing. And so to have this experience of going and being around 100 strangers and getting to commune with them under a full moon.
It was absurdly good. It was absurdly good. I got to have such delightful conversations about capitalism, the patriarchy, and its effects on women and women's power in the capitalist market. I got to have conversations about faith and non-faith, and about disabilities and accessibility to sport and the Olympics and USA Track and Field. Oh man, powerful, hard-hitting, no bullshit conversations. Really, we dug deep.
And just the diversity of the event was
Fantastic.
Really good. Although there was oddly like 15 to 20 women from Ohio. So, hey, new Ohio friends, come with us to orienteering in Cincinnati. Google orienteering Cincinnati.
But yes, the fact that this group of people found a way to attract a diverse population of women was really impressive, from everything to, race, age, like how you live in your body, like all people,
athletic ability, experience, like
everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Oh, and I felt like it was an absolute safe space for any person and anybody.
Yeah. And like, it was fun seeing like generations too. So it was like, recently empty nesters, like women with their adult women children, grown women with their mom, bringing their mom there. Like it was just like a
multi-generational. Yeah, it was amazing. And this is just a little yummy little tidbit that has not much to do about women's empowerment, but if you're interested in thinking about this event, the branding is on point, and everything that you receive and look at is branded, and you get a branded camp soap, and the sweatshirts are, and the sunglasses, and like the oatmeal is branded. Like everything you touch and do is beautifully branded, and the money that you spend on any extra gear there goes to scholarships for women who can't afford to come. And I would also like to say that generally speaking, this is a very affordable camp. I've been to at least 3 different running camps in my life, and they've all been 4 times as expensive as this. So, accessible, and if it's not accessible to you, there are still scholarships that you can apply for.
Great women, women.
Another follow-up from Sheventures is this is their inaugural year of the Sheventures, which Annie and her daughter are also attending.
Yeah, so it's for a big and a little pairing of your choice. So whether it's an aunt and a niece, or a grandmother and a granddaughter, mother, daughter, whatever. So I'll be super stoked to go with that with Arbor and have it be a whole weekend of things that are for her. That's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I know a lot of kids have been asking apparently over the years, like, but when can I go? When can I go? And it was cool. Jenny Baker's daughter and a couple of the kids of other leaders were at a table on Sunday morning, basically plugging the next event, and they helped us make little baby terrariums. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay. To, like, market for the next event, which is just, like, the most beautiful, bespoke... silly ass shit that just speaks to my soul.
I mean, those are the small details. Like, there was a lot of care in planning the event, and all those branding things, that makes you feel that. Like, somebody had to say, wait, but what if we put Sheventures on the soap?
Yeah.
Like, what if we put a banner, like, over the entrance?
It was really lovely.
Oh, and I think one of the more understated pieces of the weekend was there was a schedule. So it was essentially get there Friday, hang out, get familiar with who's there. Saturday you did your 2 events that you chose, and then Sunday was like pack up camp and your send off. The best part of the schedule for me was the ability to opt out of anything.
Yeah.
So there was no like cattle call or like wake up alarm.
Yeah.
If you decided like none of the activities that I ended up doing are actually speaking to me today, or like this.
Yeah, it is not a military style regime thing. It's like, do you want to sit and eat oatmeal and sit in a field for hours and just stare at the field?
Yeah.
Cool, you can.
Yeah. Do you want to play Frisbee games for a whole hour? Like,
or do you even want to join other groups that you're not even signed up for and just like do things all day? You can also do that.
Yeah. Do you want to do yoga on Sunday, or are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to be in a group? Do you want to be alone? Like, there was so much freedom and no pressure to be any particular way. I felt very free to just be like, what do I want and need right now? I get to have that and do that.
It was delightful. Yes. Women. And
just, man, I just love connecting with other women, and especially like I don't know, getting to talk about birth barf too was really fun, like, because these are not people that we're normally exposed to, but I expose myself to everybody.
Yes, she did. She did.
So, like, getting to talk about, like, birth barf and what we're trying to do aligns very much with, like, just letting women know, like, it is for you.
Yeah, and I would like to talk a little bit, and not to toot our horn, but to pass this baton on to others, to encourage them to do it in the female spaces that they're participating in, was to sort of give women the opportunity to say nice things about themselves and build themselves up and talk about things that they're proud of. We sat in a lot of spaces where we heard women, like, either downplay their great achievements or just outright say shitty things about themselves, which we've all done and do. But giving women room to be like, well, we don't want to hear that part. Tell us about the awesome part that you love about yourself. And just sort of like handing on that torch to someone to be like, try this on for size. See how this feels. It feels different, I promise, and it's going to be awkward at first. Yeah. But you can learn to say good things about yourself with confidence, and you will feel better. And then you can pass that torch on to someone else.
Yeah. And selfishly just being like, give me the heart of you.
Yeah. Also, like, just tell me everything about your entire experience and your entire life. Start at the beginning.
Yeah. Give me the thing that makes you you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that takes some pulling.
Yeah. So light that torch for yourself and pass it on to another woman.
Women. Yeah. I feel like I wish I could just like pass a feeling through the microphone. I do. I just want to like linger in this feeling of like women empowerment, like owning my own Annie-ness, like just continuing to grow more and more into like, I like who I am, I like what I do,
I feel safe, and I want to try new things,
and I'm amazed at what I'm capable of.
Damn, dude, look how far we've come. Well, we've self-actualized, so this is our last podcast ever.
I've reached
transcendence.
Nirvana. Yes, transcendence. Until next time.
We are
Birth Barf!